Chapter 5, Tauheed and its virtues. Question 30. What is the meaning of Tauheed, and what are its categories? Tauheed is attributing God's attributes to Him alone and none other. The categories of Tauheed are three. Number 1, Tauheed al-Rububiyyah, belief in Allah's exclusive lordship. Number 2, Tauheed al-Uluhiyyah, belief that no one deserves to be worshipped except Allah. Number 3, Tauheed al-Asma' and al-Sifat, belief in the exclusivity of Allah's lofty names and sublime attributes. Question 31. What is the meaning of Tauheed al-Rububiyyah, belief in God's exclusive lordship? The meaning of Tauheed of lordship is to affirm that Allah is one and unique in His actions, such as the acts of creating, providing provision, ruling, regulating, and disposing the affairs of all of creation. Question 32. Does it suffice a Muslim to affirm Tauheed al-Rububiyyah, God's exclusive lordship, in order to embrace Islam as one's religion? Affirming Allah's lordship alone is not sufficient to embrace Islam as one's religion, because some disbelievers during the time of the Prophet, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, affirmed this aspect of Tauheed, but it did not benefit them. The proof of this is in the saying of Allah the Exalted, وَلَئِن سَأَلْتُهُمْ مَنْ خَلَقَهُمْ لَيَقُولَنَّ اللَّهُ فَأَنَّى يُؤْفَكُونَ. And if you ask them, who created them? They will certainly say Allah. How are they then turned away? The Quran, chapter Az-Zukhruf, verse 87. Question 33. What is the meaning of the Tauheed al-Uluhiyyah, unification in worship? Tauheed al-Uluhiyyah means that all forms of worship should be directed only to Allah. It is also said, it is singling out God for all acts of worship, which is the essential meaning of the testimony. There is no God worthy of worship except Allah. Question 34. What is the importance of Tauheed al-Uluhiyyah? Number 1, Tauheed al-Uluhiyyah, the belief that no one deserves to be worshipped except Allah, is the actual purpose for the creation of the human being and the jinn. Number 2, Tauheed al-Uluhiyyah is the ultimate goal of the message and teachings of all of the messengers and the prophets of God. Number 3, Tauheed al-Uluhiyyah, the belief that no one deserves to be worshipped except Allah, is the right of Allah upon His slaves. Number 4, Tauheed al-Uluhiyyah, the belief that no one deserves to be worshipped except Allah, is the fundamental requirement which validates actions of worship. Question 35. What is the meaning of Tauheed al-Asma' and al-Sifat, belief in the exclusivity of Allah's lofty names and sublime attributes? Tauheed al-Asma' and al-Sifat is to affirm that Allah is one and unique in His names and attributes, without distorting their meanings or rendering them void of meaning, and by not delving into the how or likening Him to any of His creation. Question 36. What is the method of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah in Tauheed al-Asma' and al-Sifat? The method of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah in Tauheed al-Asma' and al-Sifat is to affirm what Allah has affirmed for Himself in His book or as mentioned by His Prophet without likening anyone to Him, and to negate what Allah has negated about Himself in His book or as mentioned by His Prophet. It is to glorify Him by declaring that He is far from any and all imperfections, while never rendering His names and attributes void of meaning. The proof for this is in the saying of Allah the Exalted, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ. There is nothing whatsoever similar to Him, and He is the all-hearing, the all-seeing. The Quran, chapter Ash-Shura, verse 11. His saying, there is nothing whatsoever similar to Him, prohibits likening anything to Allah, while the saying of Allah, and He is the all-hearing, the all-seeing, prohibits rendering His names and attributes void of meaning. Question 37. What is the importance of Tauheed al-Asma and al-Sifat? Belief in the exclusivity of Allah's lofty names and sublime attributes. Number 1. It brings about an increase of faith in Allah, the Exalted. Number 2. Knowledge of the names and attributes of Allah is the proper way to learn about Allah, the Exalted. Number 3. It strengthens one with regards to internal actions related to the heart, such as one's love for Allah, the Exalted, and one's fear of Him, as well as one's hope for His grace. Number 4. It prevents one from committing acts of likening Allah to His creation, or rendering His names and attributes void of meaning, such as those transgressions committed by the Jahmiyyah and the Mu'tazila and the Ash'ariyah, deviated sects of Muslims. Question 38. What are the virtues of Tauheed? The virtues of Tauheed are many. Number 1. It is the greatest means for the prevention of bloodshed and protection of wealth. Number 2. It is true salvation from the hardships of this life and the next. Number 3. It brings about triumph over enemies and stability in this world. Number 4. Complete security in this life and the hereafter. Number 5. A good life in this world and a great reward in the hereafter. Number 6. Expiation of sins and bad deeds. Number 7. Salvation from the hellfire. Number 8. Entering paradise.